to be with got on his mind, and behind her laughter and circle the block, come back and tell me you took the words he painted by heart right out of my hand, like the scroll we scratched the screen and all, do as we want, as we do as we want, as the fall we taste the shame and all, we've never not, we've never not. What is the end of my troubled mind? To embitter to sin, provoke my soul, come Christ within it. Hey, hey.
You're listening to The Slight by Miranda Ray Blue. Chapter 13. The Sacred Clown.
Like the scroll we scratched and scream and all, do as we want to, do as you want to, like the fall we taste the shame and all, we've never not, we've never not. What is the end of your troubled mind? To embitter to sin, provoke your soul to crash within.
The Slight sits quietly across the street from Anne's school. One Irish wolfhound squeezed in among them, while the afternoon dismissal spills children onto the sidewalks. Astrid watches Chris with unbroken concentration. Anne's former teacher, her abuser, the man who stole every future Anne was meant to have, laughs with staff, greets students by name, and strolls toward his van as though the world never had an Anne in it to begin with.
Astrid, why are you torturing yourself?
Narek is still so happy to have Walton Doggins back that he fusses over her every chance he gets, showering her with endless affection.
Who that dog? You that dog? You the best dog ever. Yes, you is the best dog.
There's gotta be some way around it.
Why not try it anyway? What's the worst that could happen?
I'm just going to pretend you didn't say that.
Dude, you don't mess with the Fae. They can get real heavy.
But you're an archangel. And Astrid, you're a... What exactly are you?
It doesn't matter.
Seraph leans over to Narek.
A demigoddess.
No shit? Who are her parents?
That's a touchy subject. Best to leave it be.
Wait, if she's a demigoddess, why is she working for the Christian religion?
I can hear you.
Well, my point is, we have powers of our own. So how can the Fae even hurt us?
Oh, they can do a whole lot of damage.
By this time, Chris has already driven off campus. Astrid is just about ready to call it a day when a police cruiser rolls into the school parking lot. 2 officers climb out and make their way toward the principal, who steps outside to meet them.
Seraph, can you?
Sure thing.
Seraph closes his eyes and tilts his head down, reaching out with his gift, letting the voices come into focus. While he hones in,
Why don't we tip off the cops to what the teacher is up to?
Right. Because the human justice system has such a stellar track record when it comes to protecting women and girls abused by men in positions of power. They hide behind uniforms, titles, degrees, pulpits, whatever earns them the benefit of the doubt. By the time anyone believes the victim, the damage is already done. Besides, I'd rather hand this prick my own version of justice. I want him to remember her name for the rest of his miserable little existence. I want Anne's name etched behind his eyes, so that every time he closes them, she's there waiting. Carved so deeply into his memory that forgetting her becomes impossible, and painful to even try. And it follows him into whatever dark world waits after this. Don't you?
Before Narek has a chance to process a response, the officers get back into their cruiser and leave. Seraph slowly opens his eyes and lifts his head, his focus drifting back from the officers to the rest of the slight.
The kid has gone missing. It's the 3rd in the past month. A series of kidnappings.
Nothing about Anne or her teacher?
No, but it sounds pretty serious. Should we check it out?
Why? It's none of our business.
Astrid gets up and starts walking away. The others follow.
Wait, hang on a minute. Anne was none of our business either.
Yeah, well, some good that did us, right?
After everything we did to get here, you're just going to waste it? Think about the good we could be doing.
He's right, and you know it.
Astrid stops.
I know he's right, I'm just annoyed, okay?
Hey dudes, we're all right in a way, okay? Let's just work together, compadres.
Seraph drapes an arm around Astrid's shoulders. Cotton smiles, bringing new meaning to the term overjoyed, to a point of seemingly causing a facial twitch, then follows suit by wrapping herself around Astrid's legs in an overly enthusiastic bear hug.
Well, I've got a way to take your mind off of it for a while. Let's hunt us some kidnapper.
Cotton draws herself up with the authority of a seasoned military chief and begins to give a commanding speech. In Spanish.
Ven, apurrémonos de este maldito y entreguémosla al juicio de Huitzilopochtli. Como hicieron los cuatro sacerdotes, hendámoslo sobre la piedra sagrada. Abramos su pecho con un cuchillo de obsidiana. Aicemos su corazón aún palpitante al sol. Y arrojemos su cuerpo por las escalinatas del templo mayor.
The other 3 Slight stop in their tracks with looks of confusion upon their faces.
Okay then. Should we get started?
Yeah,
Can we get ice cream first?
sure.
Yay!
The Slight begin walking away. Cotton reaches for Seraph's hand. He accepts it without even looking down. His fingers simply curl around hers as though they've done it 1,000 times before.
I didn't know you could speak Spanish.
I can?
Yeah, quite fluently, I might add. Good job, little dude.
Azúcar! Azúcar! Azúcar!
That's very good. You should be proud of yourself.
I am.
The 4 members of the Slight, with one booster chair for Cotton, gather solemnly around a table like generals preparing for war. A single light burns overhead, leaving the rest of the room in shadow. The air is heavy with purpose, and they are all eating ice cream cones. They're looking at a map of the whole town.
From what I've gathered, this is the most probable location of the kidnappings. It doesn't guarantee us anything, but it's worth a try.
Yeah, but we're not going to keep coming back here day after day, using Cotton as bait and hoping some creep kidnaps her. That's not a plan.
Well, there is something I could do that might help speed things up. But it might attract more than we bargained for.
How's that?
I can't call a person I don't know. I can only cast the invitation toward those living behind a mask. Men carrying hidden lives, men hiding who they are. The magic doesn't know their names. It doesn't know their faces. It only recognizes the mask. But they'll feel the pull.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work. Narek, are you up for jumping bodies so we can check out leads at the police station?
I'd rather avoid that if it's all the same to you.
When I listened in, they didn't seem to have any leads.
Well, I suppose we can try it Seraph's way. Though, we may need to ask for a little help again, just to narrow things down a bit.
But who?
I may know someone.
Not another deal.
Oh, calm down. They're human. They just have certain abilities that could come in handy.
What will they ask for this time? A Ferrari?
Astrid rolls her eyes.
Great! Where are they?
Well, they aren't super common, but they exist throughout the world. And I happen to know one personally who lives 2 towns over. Road trip?
All right, man.
They're all pumped up, but a silence befalls when they realize
Does anyone have a car?
the diner looks like something plucked straight out of the 1950s and forgotten by time. Chrome gleams beneath fluorescent lights. Red vinyl booths creak beneath the weight of tired men. Coffee steams from thick white mugs, while cigarette smoke drifts lazily towards stained ceiling tiles. Somewhere in the corner, a jukebox croons an old familiar tune as rain taps gently against the windows. The patrons, most of them men, look remarkably ordinary, some middle-aged, some in their mid-20s to early 30s, white, the kind of men you'd pass in the grocery store without ever giving them a second glance, each drinking coffee and smoking or eating, and silently contemplating whatever strange twist of fate had drawn them to this particular place on this particular rainy night. One man shoves a bloody piece of steak into his mouth. Grease and red juices trickle down his chin, but he either doesn't notice or doesn't care. Another man sips his coffee with a long, obnoxious slurp that scrapes against the nerves of the 19-year-old waitress standing behind the counter. She glances at the clock as she leans on the bar, tapping one foot in anticipation. Only one more hour. Then she can close up and go home. She pictures her cat waiting impatiently at the apartment door, a bowl of popcorn, her favorite television show. After that, well, she'd spend an hour enjoying herself with the custom-made male sex doll she worked many hard months to save up for and bought online. She'd had it modeled after Tom Hiddleston. Well, Tom Hiddleston with Willem Dafoe's penis, after she recently saw Streets of Fire and found him peculiarly attractive. Then she found a nude photo of him online from back in the day, only to be pleasantly surprised at what he's apparently been packing. The synthetic skin felt remarkably real. The body was self-warming. Perfect for rainy evenings like this one. She smiles to herself. There isn't an ounce of shame in the thought. Some people prayed before bed. Some people read. Some people fucked movie star replicas. To each their own. The jukebox clicks. The music stopped. For a heartbeat, the diner became perfectly still. Then another record drops onto the turntable. Lenny Bruce. His voice crackles through the speakers, filling the room with his particular speciality, sharp observations and deliciously uncomfortable jokes. The entrance door opens. The little brass bell above it jingles. Then comes another sound. Smaller bells. Many of them. A newcomer enters barefoot. Tiny brass bells circle his wrists and ankles. A walking stick carved from green ash wood rests comfortably in one hand. He wears a loose cotton garment of faded browns and muted tans, its stripes hanging softly from his thin frame. White paint had been smeared across his face, not neatly, not carelessly, but as though someone had painted memory itself across his skin. His cap fit tightly over his head, trimmed all the way around with tiny bells that chimed softly whenever he moved. He stands quietly inside the doorway, surveying the room. Slowly, patiently, not searching, remembering. Oddly enough, no one seems to notice him. Or perhaps they notice him in the same way one notices an old tree beside the road. Something that has always been there. Something that belongs. He walks to the counter and sits upon the middle stool. Without saying a word, he slowly turns until he faces the dining room. Lenny Bruce reaches another punchline. A chuckle escapes one patron's lips. Another laughs. Within moments, the entire diner begins laughing in crescendo. The sound spreads from table to table until it becomes almost unnatural. Laughter has always been such an excellent disguise. But not to this sacred clown, quite the opposite. The bellman rises. His bells barely whisper as he approaches the first booth. The man seated in it, laughing harder as their eyes meet. The bellman bends until only inches separate their faces. Then, a memory. Not the whole thing. Never the whole thing. Only the pieces that refuse to die. A wedding ring, cheap whiskey, a locked hotel door, a woman's terrified eyes, pleasure, pain. The bellman feels both sides of the memory, the hunger, the terror. Then, nothing. The bellman straightens himself and continues walking. The second man. Again, the laughter grows louder. Another flash. Music is pounding inside a nightclub. A drink left unattended. Heavy eyelids. The back seat of a car. Dumping them before they awake. Morning sunlight. Regret arriving much too late. Gone. Another table. A frightened teenage boy. A love letter folded 100 times. Fire. Ashes drifting into the wind. A wedding photograph. 40 years spent pretending. The bellman's expression softens. He gives the man's shoulder the gentlest touch imaginable. Then continues walking. Another booth. Another piece of someone's soul. A father's fist. Another. Money stolen from a friend. Another. A dying dog that could not be saved. Not every memory. Only the ones that left scars. Only the moments that helped to shape them and never stopped echoing in the dark corners of their souls. The bellman continued his walk, reading chapters from a book no one else can see. Then he stops. Every tiny bell upon his body becomes perfectly still. The bellman lowers himself before one final patron. The man laughs harder than all the others. The bellman looks into his eyes and sees a rabbit kicking and screaming helplessly, hands slick with blood, a shovel biting into wet earth, a tiny sneaker abandoned in the wilderness, a fresh mound of dirt like a grave, a child's muffled cry beneath the earth. Then, silence. The bellman does not flinch. He simply stands up straight and without a word walks out the diner door, ringing its bell as he leaves. Outside, rain washes the parking lot clean. He approaches a 1958 Edsel Villager wagon that's been waiting beneath the flickering neon lights of the diner and a nearby street lamp. The old Edsel, once painted two-toned jonquil yellow and Durez gold poly, time had baked into muted echoes of themselves. The yellow has aged into the color of old parchment, while the gold has weathered into a dusty bronze with hints of cinnamon. The roof is little more than oxidized metal wearing the memory of paint. Years of sun, rain, and neglect have rubbed away the shine, leaving a soft, chalky finish that somehow gives the old wagon more dignity than polish ever could. He climbs into the back seat and joins the sleigh. Narek sits behind the wheel, Astrid rides shotgun, and Seraph occupies the passenger side rear seat with Cotton perched comfortably on his lap. And Walton Doggins is asleep peacefully in the back of the wagon, probably dreaming of Well, you know who. For several seconds, no one speaks. Then, with one impossibly long finger, he points through the rain-streaked window toward a single man casually laughing inside the diner. Narek strains his eyes to look through the rain-soaked windshield. A slow smile crosses Astrid's face.
Got him.
The next day, a school bus rumbles past, finishing its afternoon route as the last of the neighborhood children disappear into their homes. From the feet up, Cotton is bundled in her winter best, pink snow boots, thick winter pants, an oversized fluffy coat zipped all the way to her chin, its hood cinched tightly around her face. Black gloves dotted with hot pink hearts. A backpack bounces gently against her back as she follows the fractured remains of a sidewalk. Beyond it, gravel shoulders, empty lots, and dense woods stretch along the edge of the road. Then a car begins to glide up gently beside her, and the driver rolls down his window.
Excuse me, can you help me? I've lost my dog.